Good morning. It is Thursday, 12th of September 2025. It is I, your host, Kenny Tan, in Me versus Me daily pre-session with lots of growth. Now, what do I have in store today? Regular viewers would remember and that today is all about being focused about the inputs. I mean, this session, right? And being intentful with the inputs is what we're after. So we're going to go through our daily pre-session scorecard. We're going to go through our mental check. And with that, let me just head on into the checklist. So meditation, we'll do it after the session, after this call. Trading terminal check, not yet. But let me just start filling out all this mindset and psychology at column first. So stress level, pretty good, pretty unstressed. And it helps that we've been on a roll. We've had very good executions. And because of those executions, we have been rewarded with quite a few profits. So I'm looking to maintain that cadence and be ready for the market telling me that I'm wrong, because I don't want to get to be on tilt after the first loss or the second loss. I want to make sure that I obey my rules and not get tilted by any form of external inputs. Affirmation of my edge, we'll discuss that further once we go into our charts. But this is something that I do know that when the market is trending, it will then turn into ranging, and that's where my edge drops a little bit, and I need to be more careful with my positioning and my executions. Mentally prepared and balanced and patient. That is why we are doing this session today. I think this series of recordings has really helped me solidify what I want to do and being intentful with my actions into the market. Because without these sessions, when you look at my results in the last month, they were night and day. I was just running around trying to make anything and everything stick. But in fact, I was just failing at it very badly. And that comes with detaching from the outcome. So the C game triggers that I'm anticipating today is in a ranging market. The market's going to flip up and down a lot. My trade's going to take a longer time to TP, as evidenced by yesterday's trade. We'll run through that in a moment. Instead of going at peak hours, I'm going to have, whether it's peak hours or non-peak hours, meaning whether it's London or Asia, the trade might take longer to TP. And that results in me trying to manage the trade, trying to do extra things. So I'm going to be setting alerts, and I'm going to be using those alerts to help me exit the trade. My profit exit is only going to be 1 RTP, but I have a 1 RSL to limit my losses ultimately, and I have a third one, which is alerts to exit, meaning I get a discount on the exit. The other C game I want to mention is being soft with the market, meaning I don't let my winners breathe. And so far, because most of the trades have been quite fast, that hasn't been a major issue. So let's transition on to our first check, which is our trading station terminal check. So what I usually do is I'm just gonna put 2000 pips, 200 pips here, 200 pips there. And this is my trade manager. It's a tool I downloaded from InvestSoft. Pretty good tool, very useful. And I used to overdo this trade manager. It's very powerful. I can do partials, I can do break evens, I can pull my stops, but that choked my trading. So the only use I have for this is for my entry and for it to pre-calculate my lot size. And once I've populated a 1R, all I need to do is to click and enter the trade. What I'm doing now is taking a pending order to check that all my accounts are connected. And you can see once I click it, all the orders except for one. You can see there's an execution error. So that is because I have some good news that this account has finally got to has finally qualified. So I'm actually going to engage a funded account now here. So once I have the funded account enabled here, we're going to go back there. And we're going to delete this order. I'm going to try and launch that order again to make sure that all the accounts have it. So I don't see an error here anymore. Let's go back up here. It's not triggered, which means I've got to go back to Copix and I've got to fix it. So this is part of the daily startup. You can see the time now is 9:50. It's far away from my execution point. I'm not in any rush. You can see this is the new account. Let's maximize this. Okay, so I'm going to have to plug this into my DNOT source. First I have to change enable the copier, and I'm going to call this J2 12.5K and save it. And then what we're going to do is, no, I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it behind that account. J2 12.5K. It looks like 125, but it's not. Okay, so that's it. That's all I need to do. So now when I come back to my main execution account, we're going to plonk that in and click. And we should see the order has appeared here. Now the question is that the right order size? So I'm going to have to go back there and make sure I've got the right multiplier on. Money management 1. So yeah, that should be the right lot size. And that's it. That's really it. So trading terminal check done. Okay, we're going to shut Rustest down. Now back to the market. First, a run through of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about the price coming off the Magenta MA. And we took the buy at Asia, expecting to react when required should the price turn below my support of Wednesday Asia and of course Tuesday and Wednesday. That didn't happen, so the price just floated to my TP point, which is around my entry point of London the previous day. And after that, the price didn't extend, which was also in my notes yesterday during my pre-session. The price, in fact, flipped back inwards and has since stayed inwards. So today, the market has opened right here. Earlier, it was on an upwards trajectory, but we can clearly see now this has formed a high, and we're still well within Tuesday's Asia range, which now leads me to believe that this price should fulfill downwards and test these two supports. I'm mindful that we're playing into the MAs, so that's not the strongest play, but it is also accounted for in my mechanical setup that the MAs will have to give way at some point, and my execution is actually based off of horizontals. Speaking of which, this was the result of our trading and our challenge for the last 8-9 days. We took an account from sort of break even or zero, and we rode it to TP, and we got 10.1% in the last 10 days. You can see that we started this account, created in 29 July, but I only started trading it in August. And once we started trading it, it took a while, it's bouncing around. And this was what I was alluding to earlier, that I was in this loop of I was in a daze basically, and I couldn't find a way to build momentum to my profits. There was some hint of it here, but I went back into the loop. And since then, when we started September, I think we started September slightly below par, and then we drove it straight to profit. Some statistics for you to read. 58% win rate, so you don't have to have a super high win rate, but that is of course impacted by all the losses that I've collected over the month of August. Profit factor 2.4 and average RRR 1.75. Now when we look further down, just to show you how this account came about, we bought the account here, but I only committed to started trading it in August. In fact, it happened on the second week. And there was all this red, there were more red days than green days, obviously. There was no clear process. I was only looking for the output. And that really meant that I couldn't get anything going. Fast forward to September, and you can see that this has now changed completely. It's night and day. It was one red day. I was holding the trade overnight on Monday. That's why it turned out red. And then Tuesday profit, Wednesday profit, Thursday profit, Friday, I think we were holding profit, or somehow it just went to Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday. I think it was lagging a day somehow. But it is what it is. We got our result. And yay! Our first funding in over 2 months, I think. So I'm looking to unlock some profit from here and looking to roll that forward. So thank you, coach. Thank you for my 2 coaches and also my family for supporting me and allowing me to find my balance and find the profit, because I'm doing it for them, right? There's a reason why we're doing this. There's a reason why I'm recording this, and hopefully that this rings true to you guys as well. Now, here are the markups from yesterday. I had the blue squiggly line going upwards, and that was reflective of my trade going up, and that's the TP. Perfecto mundo. And that would be the pink line would be my reaction going downwards. So let's tidy up the chart for today, and let's see what the execution will be. Because the market is tightening up, obviously it is expected that we're gonna have a little bit of choppy movement. So I'm gonna run the analysis, and then I'm gonna decide where my execution will be if I execute today. So I'm kind of tempted to put this up here. And whatever down that I was expecting from yesterday, we're just gonna move it here today. That one, and here. Sync. Okay. So there we are. You can see my up trigger is actually near that line, and my down trigger, I can pull it much closer now. So maybe I'll just land it on that one. So that's a continuation. And wow, my blue, Mr. Blue. You can have it on yesterday's low. That looks fine. And one last part is marking up the sell level. We're expecting a movement of 1985 today, as evidenced by that number up there. So we're going to look for, it could end here. The session could close here, it could close up here. Wherever it closes at 11 AM in about an hour's time, that would be my execution. Am I happy to see where the price where it is right now? Yes. My concern is the magenta line and also my yellow MA. But that said, M30 looks shaping up to flip into that seller trend, because when the aqua crosses below the magenta, that's my seller. And given a couple more candles, that should happen. And I think we're already trading below that yellow in M30 over here. I gotta check. There you go. So those are telltale signs that my setup for the sell is ready for the harvesting, and I just need to wait for Asia to come in for me to execute. I think there's some news coming in New York, PPI tonight, or CPI. I think CPI, whichever it was. So I want to make sure that I trade before that, and my trade is in profit or out of the trade before that. It will be what it will be. I can't control my trade after. I can only control my trade once my alert is triggered upwards. Today I'm a seller, and that comes from the fact that the price has not exited Monday. and we're trading within Tuesday, and now we have a smaller Wednesday, and the prices come from the high and we're dipping downwards. So one last markup. Should the price not do this, it should go back the other way. So worst case scenario is the price pops up and goes up like that, which in my analysis and based on what I see right now, I have very little evidence to believe that's going to happen. However, I'm not going to deny that is happening once this MA turns up the other way. So that would be my roundup of the market movement. Let's check off all our checklists. Forecasting session, A+ plan, outcomes, and process. Right. So that is the readiness. It's been a longer session than usual today, 15 minutes worth. Hope you guys learned something new. Seeing another part of my process. I'm happy to share this process because this works for me, and this may not work for everybody, but you will find what works for you, and that's what is important. My sessions are at 11 a.m. Malaysia time, and 6 p.m. Malaysia. You'll find your own session, your own times. I exclusively skip New York for the reason that I need to sleep and I need to maintain my cadence and my ability to perform at a high level. So I know that I can't catch every move in the market. I know that I need to stick to my edge and only execute my edge. So with all that in mind, I wish you all the best. I'll see you tomorrow, Friday, for the last pre-session of the week. And I wish you all a great Thursday. Until tomorrow, this is Kenny.